guys.
Hi, Bruno. What do you think of the new look?
It looks great.
You're finally back. Where were you?
Well, I was shopping, but I got distracted by a giant ring. Where the fuck am I?
Well, whatever. Come on, bro. Give them to me. I gotta go wrap presents.
Not to worry. I already wrapped them, so there's no need. We could just leave them on the tree. Here you go, Gray. Well, since we got that done with, we should get started on presents.
Sure. In fact, I got yours right here.
Oh, I hope it's a hat bot. I'll be right back. God damn it, fuck!
What the hell was that?
Right. I forgot Star has an inherent fear of reviewing video games that aren't Roblox.
So what? He literally talks about video games all the time. What's different?
He just thinks that it'll lose all of relevance as a human being and as someone on the internet, so he just sticks to one niche to keep him from spiraling into depression. In short terms, he's kind of fucking dumb.
Well, we gotta do something about it, and standing here isn't gonna help him.
I got an idea.
This is fine. I could just talk about fighting. I did say I would after all. Oh, apple juice. What's going on? Santa, is that you?
No, it's your inner voice. Now go hurt the populace.
Hey, quit it! Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.
Bruno, we're here to help you.
This isn't rehab.
Nah, but we are gonna help you.
With what, my bleeding skull?
Talk about Sonic Frontiers.
I thought this was rehab, not psychological torture.
Nope, that's what this is for.
Okay, so I just got off call with the cops and we're chill. They just needed to make sure we didn't own a copy of Sonic Boom.
I'll be right back. I gotta go fill the fireplace with Sonic Boom copies.
I think you should go first, Olivia.
Fine. As a roommate of Bruno's for 8 years, I think you're fucked in the head. And you know, I've told you that you should talk about that blue fucking rat for years now.
Never would have known. Always just heard static.
What's with you and Sonic anyway? You're always wearing that goofy-ass hat, but you refuse to make a video about it.
You really want to know? In 2013, I discovered a little gaming platform known as Roblox, and that was the day I truly felt emotion. I loved it. I loved all the games, all the experiences, the tycoon, sword fighting games, RPGs, not simulators, and racing games. I've had so many friends and experiences, hundreds of hours just playing this stupid little block game. And then 2015 happened and I officially lost any credibility in my life. In 2015, I made a YouTube channel, not for gaming, but for plush videos, and it went okay for a while. I deleted it after a few years, but then in 2017, that's when I discovered the world of gaming content creators, PBG, Epic Rika, Flamingo, and later on other creators such as Salty DK Dan, Scott the Waz, Jay Schlatt, and so many others. For their humor, their style of content, that's exactly what motivated me to make videos, but with the challenge of me not having a computer and only an iPhone XR, you could tell I wasn't gonna make it big.
My god, talk about Sonic's front ears already, dude.
Never thought I'd see the day.
Wasn't he supposed to talk about why he doesn't want to talk about Sonic's Frontiers?
I'm worried that I'll lose my audience if I talk about anything not Roblox related.
So what? I like Wario and yet I have the balls to talk about him over and over again.
You don't get it though. This is a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate that will judge the success of my career if I'm not interesting enough.
Oh, like Wario.
Sure. Now don't get me wrong, I love playing other video games, Sonic, Mario, Zelda, but I love the Xenoblade Chronicles series, and other great titles, but I've always been worried that if I don't stick to one niche, then I'll fall down a realm of obscurity, and since I did Roblox content, I thought I was only meant to do Roblox content, because there's no point of doing anything else if it was already being successful. But you wanna see why Staria is fucking stupid?
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, makes sense.
Hey, why not try it? How about you have a go at a review? Why not Sonic Frontiers?
Why not Xenoblade?
No. Anything but that. Talk about Scooby-Doo First Frights.
Fine, let's review Sonic Frontiers. Sonic Frontiers is a year old now, and with the new wave of updates, not only improving the game itself, but also changing the story for the better, we really have a great game on our hands. Because let's be real here, nothing could have saved me from the hernia I experienced when I saw the old true final boss. Sonic Frontiers, released in 2022, was the first big Sonic game we received since Forces 5 years ago, and in between that dead space, I honestly couldn't feel any bit of joy in my life without my stupid blue rat fix. Once it was released, I heavily enjoyed my experience, with only one downside. Okay, well, two downsides. Once I heard of the update roadmap that they set up for 2023, I knew I would want to wait until everything was out to fully discuss this game, and with all the updates finally being out, I knew it was the right time to talk about it, even though it's been 3 months since the update released. Back off, dude. It's like my channel, I don't care. Now, I might say the voice acting is really amazing. I love the voice direction they chose for Sonic. Roger did a genuinely great job. He genuinely sounds cool and doesn't make me want to rip out my ears.
Hey! I've been looking for you, baldy McNose hair!
And if it wasn't for Ian Flynn, this story would have been way less enjoyable and probably 10 times more corny than Forces. Because I know damn well they probably wouldn't have made it as serious as it is if they didn't have Ian on there to flesh out the characters. On the other hand, when it comes to stuff like the map design, the island itself is pretty good, but it's when we get to the actual floating platforms that I get pretty iffy about. They're pretty bland and don't really follow the actual aesthetic and charm. Oh my god. But in retrospect, people, it's a Sonic game. Who cares? Like, wait until you see what collision blocks are, pal. Also, the pop-up is pretty bad, but I don't care. It's a video game. And this is that so everything has to be realistic to go to your standards, asshole. Yeah, no, it should be fixed or at least optimized more. There are some pretty good mods that help with that, though. The story starts off with Eggman traveling through the Starfall Islands at night, and he does what he usually does, the casual Eggman things, messing with the ancient technologies that he shouldn't be touching, for the sole fact that it will literally destroy the Earth if he tries fucking around and finding out. And you know, he fucks up as per usual, gets sent into cyberspace, and then we get to see Sonic, Tails, and Amy, until a whole bunch of turbulence happens, and whoops, it looks like we're in cyberspace now. Oh, these physics are not it, I'm just saying. But that's fine, it'll probably get better soon. So we finished the first cyberspace stage, I failed to get an S rank, and we get some back and forth with Sonic and the voices in his head. Ooh, who's that? Tutorial time! Press these buttons and you'll get to show parts of the map and unlock ways to travel this island. Now this is fine, but why do we need this much pop-up telling us what to do? I can clearly see my objective if you just pan the camera to the buttons. It would make it less tedious. You'll see in a bit, trust me. Everyone agreed that the tutorial section was tedious to go through. And yeah, duh, it's a tutorial of a video game. I don't know why they have to make it so tedious, which is okay, but doing it on repeat playthroughs, it kinda gets annoying, I'm just saying. Seeing the same pop-ups over and over and over and over, it really takes me out of the experience after a while. Thankfully, it never ruins my actual experience, it's just a nitpick. What was weird to me though, is that they literally have a substitute to the pop-ups with notifications on the top right with a button press. So if I wanted to get tips on how to actually do something, I could have just pressed the button and it could give me a list on stuff to do. Ooh, but nah, pal, you gotta read this shit. The game is pretty slow when you're first starting off, which is saying a lot for a Sonic game. But that's okay, because it gets better within minutes. Not everything will be fun at the beginning. You have to get used to the controls to get better at it. Don't like how Cyberspace plays and wish to go faster? Then just take shortcuts and use your own mechanics, like learning the homing dash the community made just to beat the time on 1-2, which, yes, this is in fact the hardest stage in the entire game. Well, if you don't count the Update 3 Cyberspace stages.
Frankly, I think he should be more open to more types of content, like gameplay videos or maybe reaction content.
I've already tried gameplay videos, it's just not my thing anymore.
Oh, come on, you did really well with gameplays. What made you stop?
The YouTube circle likes long-form stuff now.
Listen, all I'm saying is just do what you want, man. You're doing good so far with this review, even though I hate platformers and that dumbass hedgehog.
Well, what about short form? I know you tried making a TikTok account.
Hey guys, it's me, Staria987. I'm here to talk about Sonic Frontiers, more like Skippity a frontier.
Okay, maybe long form isn't a bad choice.
You're free to do what you want, when you want in Frontiers. Well, you know, after you 100% the entire game, do all the objectives needed, and then clear the map, and then get all the Chaos Emeralds and beat the bosses, and clear everything in Update 3. Then you can do whatever you want. The game is broken up into 5 islands, 4 which are large open zone areas. Your main objective is to grab the Chaos Emeralds and fight the Titans at the end of each island. But Staria, how did you get the Chaos Emeralds? You might be asking. Well, you need to get the Chaos Keys, which you can get by beating Cyberspace stages, and you can only play Cyberspace stages if you get Portal Gears, which you can only get if you beat Guardians or if you do Biggs Fishing, but we don't like to talk about Biggs Fishing. If you get enough Portal Gears, which you can get by beating Guardians, which are easier if you collect upgrades by completing missions on the island or just running around and happen to bring a crate containing the said upgrades. Now you may think that this just leads to getting stuck into a repetitive process of doing the same thing over and over and over again, but it's not necessarily the case, as each Cyberspace stage gives you 4 objectives: beat the stage, beat it with an S rank, collect all red rings, and collect a specific amount of rings given to you. And if you complete all 4, you get an additional 3 keys, which can really speed up the process of collecting all the Chaos Emeralds. And depending on your skill level, you'll get Chaos Emeralds in no time, with the exception being the story-driven missions. In the story missions, you need to complete a specific minigame that involves you helping out the Coco of the island you're in. These small little dudes right here, who are basically Chow but for Frontiers, to receive an emerald. Also, you get a little Sonic dance every time you complete these missions. So with that, we can see that there's a lot of incentive of choosing your own path and doing as much as you'd like, preferably doing most activities given to you, but that leads to another question. Is it fun to traverse the islands? Yes. Before the update, traversal was fun but lacked substance, as jumping would kill your boost immediately, but with the upside of rail launching not killing your speed and launching you extremely far depending on how fast you go. But ever since update 2, we've been blessed with the fact that we can actually enable a setting where jumping doesn't kill our momentum. Alongside with the spin dash introducing itself in update 2, it makes things so much more exhilarating. You think the spin dash would just work like the drop dash on the ground, but you'd be wrong, thanks to the fact that the spin dash has its own physical properties, allowing you to launch yourself to the skies, being able to make it to those really difficult platforms you could never really reach. But this is way more enhanced with Chaos Island. Jesus Christ. The physics can be kinda weird depending on the island. Chaos Island is the best example of this, as most of the time when you're running around the map, you're usually stuck to the ground, and this usually results in you launching yourself unintentionally when you run to the nearest pebble. That's because Chaos Island is the one island out of all 5 islands who has the most forced 2D sections. Hey, is that a subscribe button in the sky? Man, somebody should click that.
Now that is self-promotion.
With collecting your second Chaos Emerald, we're introduced to the first major boss, Giganto, which leads to... Holy shit, it fucking killed him!
Yes!
Oh, never mind, he's fine. The plot basically revolves around Sage, an AI created by Dr. Eggman, whose goal is to get Sonic out of the islands and free Dr. Eggman from cyberspace. Sage introduces herself by telling Sonic to get the fuck out or he's dead meat. Sonic, being Sonic, is like, whatever kid, I got friends to save and ass to kick, which after we're brought back to the game, and this is where you're truly free to explore and do what you want. Well, if Amy didn't get in the way needing my help all the time with Coco. Kronos Island is the first map in the game, and it may feel pretty empty, but that's both thanks to the pop-in and also because you just haven't unlocked much because you have to do missions inside the islands, like puzzles and such, to actually unlock all the floating platforms that are around the island itself. When completing these missions, you unlock more parts of the map, allowing for more types of traversal across the map, being it faster or just fun for players. Some missions are pretty fun, but lack a real challenge when playing on repeat playthroughs. Even the ones on the final island, Uranus Island, aren't that difficult. However, can anyone explain to me why the hell they felt the need to add this stupidly difficult puzzle challenge in the first map? It isn't that difficult once you realize you can just fidget the controller a bit to glitch the pillars into doing them individually, which still makes me ask, why put it in the first island and make it so we never see a minigame this hard in any other island for the rest of the game? Well, not the only one.
You know what doesn't make sense to me is the fact that you're getting upset over a Sonic game.
No, it's written in stone that if you're a Sonic fan, you're legally supposed to complain about Sonic even if there's something actually good. There are other mini-games on the islands, but the majority of them are typically the same overall. There's the sidestep ones you have to step on enough green squares with a certain amount of time. The parry minigame, which isn't that difficult when you realize you could just hold the parry forever. Tower, and this ball minigame on Ares Island. That's used once and never again, but to be fair, it's only story related, but it also just sucks because of how slow it is, so that's not too big of an issue. Well, if we ignore that jump rope one where you can just hold the parry for it. Outside of minigames are the collectibles such as special Coco, memory tokens, and music notes. The new specialized Coco come with completely new challenges that are way harder and are way more fun. A majority of them revolve around being high up in the air to give a big sense of risk because of it. There are also special Coco. There's a king, a prince, a ninja, a pirate, a one with a funny hat, I literally do not know the reference to this, and one with Caliburn on its back, which is indeed my favorite one. Now, not only does collecting these act like a multiplier, whereas collecting one of the special Coco give you multiple Coco at once when you collect them, but it comes with the added bonus of increasing your boost gauge, meaning you'll never be able to run out of boost. I mean, you could already never run out with the advantage of the infinite boost buff, but still, the chances of you running out is actually really low, making traversal always be at your top speed. Well, you know, not when you're in Chaos Island, because you'll just fly. Now, I discussed running and launching yourself off the ground into the stratosphere, but what about the spin dash? The spin dash was introduced in the second update of the game, and good god, is it one of the greatest additions to the game. You may ask if it's like the drop dash, but you're wrong. It actually has its own physical properties, allowed for some insane platforming, but the only way to unlock it is by S-ranking all 40 island stages in each of the 4 main islands, which really just means you won't be able to unlock it once you're near the end of the game, which was honestly a good choice because of how overpowered these all are. Thanks to how broken it is, you can skip a lot of the platforming sections by yourself by just doing a spin dash. But the best way to use it for traversal is especially in Chaos Island, because of the fact that you can launch yourself easily just by running around an accident. The spin dash allows you to essentially just go into the stratosphere. Because of how the terrain is set up, it leads you to being able to launch yourself off the ground at top speed. Now, this isn't how it usually works. It's really just luck. You can't just do it automatically if you wanted to. But the spin dash completely changes the game with its introduction.
What if he reviewed a good game like Escape Shrek Obby?
Aren't we supposed to help him talk about something not Roblox related?
Well, yes, but hear me out on this. Forgotten memories?
Let's get into the combat. The combat in this game is amazing, but does indeed have its downsides. You have your base attack and your dodge, along with the parry, which I've already mentioned before, isn't great. Not the parry itself, but it's just the fact that you can hold it for like 15 seconds long, which kind of gets rid of the purpose of a parry, because that's just not how a parry works. So making it so that you can hold it for 15 seconds straight just takes away the incentive to even try. That's if you're a fucking loser. You can hold it for the entire 15 seconds until they attack you, or you can be deranged like me and purposely time your parries to an attack to pull off cool combos, including the skills, which can be unlocked through the skill tree. And the more skills you unlock, the more stylish fights you can have and the more cool combos you can pull off. There are 3 specific story skills that you can unlock by rescuing Amy, Knuckles, and Tails, and they're extremely overpowered. 2 of them being the exact same, just requires a different prompt in order for you to do the attack. One being a parry, and the other one being when you get knocked down.
You know, after hearing all this, I think I've come to a consensus and have decided to adjust my speech, but I'm still working on it. So, I'll let Kat go.
Well, okay. Okay. Bruno, the fact that you've prevented yourself from reviewing other games outside of Roblox is sad to see. Since you don't seem to understand, I invited someone who will make you understand. I present to you, Noelle, our local psychiatrist, Nitro.
I'm not a full-on psychiatrist, I only do it on the weekends.
Oh damn, I forgot to invite Nitro.
You sent out invitations a week ago, and you only just remember?
Isn't he that one guy who built a Roblox Lego set?
You see, here with this chart, we can clearly see that Staria plays hundreds of games, but he never goes out of his way to talk about them out of his small amount of athzagoraphobia. He never gets to share his love for games to those around him, thus less videos are made and we end up back where we started. With you actually giving games you want to talk about a shot, yes, you increase risk of irrelevancy, but there comes a chance for you to grow even larger. But with you not talking about it, we call it the Staria cycle.
So the solution is that I need a lobotomy?
No, your solution is that you need to stop yapping about a kid's game. Now, what is this about you yapping about the story of Sonic's Frontiers?
The story for Sonic Frontiers is pretty basic, so I'll explain it in basic terms. Sonic, Tails, and Amy find readings of the Chaos Emeralds being located on the mysterious Starfall Islands. Sonic and friends fly there, funny portal magic happens, Sonic is in the Matrix, leaves the Matrix, and now has voices in his head telling him to commit several felonies. You find Amy and free her from cyberspace with memory tokens and get a new ability with the downside of Sonic slowly being poisoned island by absorbing the cyber energy. Sonic gets some emeralds, gets his shit rocked by Sage, gets more emeralds, fights the Titan that rocks his shit, and boom, wins. Amy's still not back to normal, so it's off to the next island to fight more Titans. Now let's go back a bit. After collecting the 6th of the 7th Chaos Emeralds, you'll be tasked to solve this stupid fucking puzzle with the stupid fuck shit to open this waterfall, which will have a spring for you to jump on that will lead you to the Titan fight. That's how it works for all of the islands except for the 4th, as it's more story based, so there is no boss fight there. But there are these puzzles that are kind of bad, not terrible, but they're also not engaging as every other puzzle on the island, with the worst one being Chaos Island, which is literally just pinball, and you might wonder how that's bad until you realize you need to get 5 million points, which isn't bad when you have a multiplier that goes up over time, but you lose that multiplier if your ball ever falls down the hole, and it took me around 30 minutes to beat this one puzzle, and I hate it. Anyways, ignoring that, boom, you're at the Giganto fight. For this one, you'll need to climb up Giganto like you're in Shadow of the Colossus. Unfortunately, the movement is kinda jank, so you need to get used to that. Once you reach the top, it's Titan fighting time. The Titan fights in this game are absolutely spectacular. The cinematics and animations are amazing. You could make one of these bosses their own final boss for any other Sonic game. It's such a spectacle to watch all of these attacks as well. This is the coolest Super Sonic has been in years. And now let's talk about these QTEs. Each one is such eye candy, along with the quick side loop that adds an extra stun to the Titans so you can keep attacking them. Makes it so when you play in Boss Rush, you can practice your timing to see how quickly you can beat each Titan, especially if you put all of your stats at level 1. And side note, and you can't tell me these QTEs aren't cool, man. You have Sonic stomping on Giganto with multiple clones of himself, throwing Waverin into the giant fucking mountain in the middle of Ares, and knocking missiles back at its face. Sonic knocking out the Knight's knees and launching it into the air to knock it back down to the ground is so insane, and don't get me started on the end of the QTEs. No, not that the end, the cooler the end. This shit feels like a fucking anime. Sonic pulling a fucking Shun Goku Satsu on the end, which just looks badass, and it's also such eye candy and I love it. Well, not when the camera wants to show you some trees when I'm trying to parry. Yeah, it's pretty irritating when I'm trying to parry. I get that. It's supposed to make me step away from the Supreme so I can parry all the attacks it's throwing at me on its way, but maybe I don't want to do that, buddy. But it's really not that big of a deal because you just need to move away from him. But what about the original final boss, the shitty one? Yeah, when the game first came out, the true final boss was just a top-down shooter, which was essentially the same thing as the hacking missions you were supposed to do before the end of the game, but just a reskin. And we even got a completely different QTE for the boss that was never used prior to this boss actually happening. Why? Who knows? It's not seen anywhere else in the game, and it's not even seen in the final update. It's only used in this one moment in the old true final boss and never seen again. So let me ask again, why change the format? And let me follow up with another question. What's the meaning to life? I don't know. It's not bad, but it's extremely underwhelming and feels like straight up Whiplash compared to every other boss in the game. And not even Supreme is that good. Supreme is the weakest from every other boss and even has less health than Giganto. But compared to every other Titan, there's not much else. There's a second phase with a cool cutscene where he sprouts wings, and they don't even show up when you actually fight him in the second phase. It's a mess. It's really underwhelming and disappointing, but then Update 3 shows its sexy head and changes that entirely. New story changes the final island, playable Amy, Tails, and Knuckles, and even as mentioned, a remade true final boss. Not to mention the tower trials, which are some of the most hardest pieces of platforming in Sonic history, and by hardest, I mean it goes from hard to fuck you. Now before we discuss the towers, I want to talk about the new playable characters. They're cool, nothing crazy, but they're cool. Like, yeah, it's a miracle we finally got Tails, Knuckles, and Amy to be playable in a 3D Sonic game since 06, but other than that, there's really nothing much I can say. Tails is the most diverse out of the three, I guess, as he doesn't have a homing attack, which is kind of dumb. Like, I'd understand if it was just Amy, since she's also a hedgehog, but then why give it to Knuckles as well? It all just makes Amy and Knuckles feel like Sonic, but with way less special moves and buffed parries. Tails is the most creative out of the three, but still feels a little weird in my opinion, with the fact that he, again, doesn't have a homing attack and just throws wrenches to attack instead. I could complain about these three all day long. We don't have all day, do we now? This is an intervention, not history class. If this was, I would have been crucified by now on the tallest tower in the world. Speaking of towers, some of these are really unfair until you figure out how they work. The one I hate the most is the rail grinding tower because I have an extreme fear of heights, and the fact that I had to go through this shit several times made my heart race and I had to take several breaks. Once you make it to the top of a trial tower, you're met with a Coco that doesn't look like every other Coco. These are in fact the Master Coco, the spirits of the ancients who once piloted the Titans, you know, before they were destroyed. They're all pretty reasonably mad at you for destroying their shit, so you're tasked with completing their trials to see if Sonic is worthy of defeating the end. They even fixed Sonic's cyber corruption situation with making it so that Sonic gets his corruption back from his friends, but he has to learn how to channel it, which is why he doesn't go after the Chaos Emeralds. He actually climbs the trial towers to learn how to harness the energy. All of the trials are super difficult if you're playing it for the first time. Trust me, I'd know.
Enemies are greatly enhanced.
Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god. Ninja! One wave! What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What? Huh? In most trials, your goal is to defeat the enemies thrown at you within a given amount of time, with only your stats being dropped to level 1, but in some Coco trials, as the Snake trial and Tiger trial, you're nerfed down to your basic abilities, leaving you with only your basic attack and Psyloop and parry, taking away all the skills you earned, and your stats are dropped down to level 1, with the goal being the same for all other 4. Not only are you debuffed, but the enemies are buffed at such a large extent, they become so fast and strong that if you don't have a quick enough reaction time, you're down in 2 hits tops, making it incredibly unfair to those who aren't experienced with combat, and not to mention the final trial, which is the most painful experience I've ever dealt with in my life that I've had to take a shower just to beat it. You're met with Master King Coco, terrible name, let's work on that next time, buddy, and you're tasked to defeat every single Titan you fought throughout the game. You might think this is fine, right? Wrong! You're forced into having level 1 stats, which includes rings, and yeah, you keep all of your skills, which is fine, but that leads to the biggest problem, the Perfect Parry. The Perfect Parry is the exact opposite of the parry. Would you like to hold your parry for 15 seconds? Yeah, never mind, let's keep it for 12 frames. It's the exact opposite of the parry we used in the game already, where it's actually a parry this time, but with an extremely tight window of time. The parry is so fast that you have to learn every single attack an enemy throws at you just to possibly figure out how to use it correctly. Oh, and if you beat a boss, you don't get your rings back when you go to the next one, so you have to beat every single boss as fast as you possibly can without losing as much rings as you can. So you have to be Giganto, Wyvern, and the Knight as fast as possible with only 400 rings. So if you get 200 rings by the time you beat Giganto, you might as well just restart, pal, there's no hope. Though it may not feel the best strategy I can recommend is to use the cross slash along with the wind rush, then cut to a stomp attack, as it's some of Sonic's strongest abilities in his skill tree. Oh, and Cyberspace is cool. The Update 3 Cyberspace stages, Jesus Christ, I'm going to have a heart attack. These are some of the most impressive unique stages in the Sonic franchise. We haven't gotten something like this since Unleashed, and they're all so fun, yet so difficult. I genuinely love these stages. It's like the team heard people complaining about the linear stages and slow speed of actual Cyberspace stages, and said, fine, you want linear? Then don't have it, bitch. And so they didn't have it. My favorites have to be the stages where you race Tails, because all the paths you can take and learn to traverse the level make it so that you have to reach the end as fast as possible to try to gain an S rank, which surprisingly isn't one of the actual goals in the stage. Overall, I really love Frontiers, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have its flaws. The game has its jank, no doubt, but that doesn't mean it ruins the game for me. Sonic Frontiers is my favorite Sonic game by far. But you didn't include a playable Cyber Sonic? You were this close, dude.
Oh, that must be Frosty!
You invited the guy I robbed?
Yeah, he's here to help you out with your crippling bitchiness.
Remind me why I got invited again?
Oh, Staria has YouTuber irrelevancy syndrome, and we're trying to cure him of it.
Oh, easy fix. Just give him one of these.
What the hell am I supposed to do with this?
So, you guys having a Christmas party or an intervention?
Dude, I don't even know anymore. We haven't even opened presents yet, so it's just been an intervention.
So, what's gonna happen to Bruno?
Hopefully brain damage.
Oh, what the hell happened? Holy shit, I'm in the void. What the hell's going on? Whoa. Whoa! Who are you?
I'm you.
Holy shit.
Look, we need to have a talk.
Is this because of the campaign I made to have anyone who plays Adopt Me be castrated, or the petition to have Roblox go back to the 2012 aesthetic?
It's about you and the platform itself.
Oh, right. What do you want to tell me now that I haven't heard already? That I need to branch out and make new things? I get that, and I'm literally doing that right now with Sonic Frontiers.
Are you happy though? Do you feel satisfied with what you're doing? You know what this could and likely will result in, right?
I mean, I enjoy the game and I like talking about the franchise, so what's the problem?
This is it. This is what's stopping you. Or is it really what's stopping you from doing something like this earlier? You have a problem with this? Really? This is what's been holding you back?
Hey man, you don't get it, do you? If I try anything different, I get sent to the depths of irrelevancy and I'm forgotten by the world.
So then why do it? Why continue making content? Why continue trying to have a platform on the internet that keeps you going?
I just like to entertain people. That's my goal. It's not just for fame or money. I'm doing it because if I'm able to make people smile by watching my content, then that's all I need. The reason I'm stuck doing only Roblox content is because I feel like if I lose those people, they would just drop me like a hat for somebody else and never want to see my work ever again.
You see there's your problem. You're trying too hard to entertain everyone when not everyone is going to like you and what you make. You need to realize that if somebody doesn't want to watch your new content just because it's different, doesn't mean they never want to watch you again. It just means it's not for them and that's okay. You'll find new viewers, new fans. But just because the old fans leave doesn't mean you should give up. Live and learn to keep growing. Only then will you be able to be happy making videos to entertain.
Can I add you on Roblox? I get it. I get it now! I don't always have to do what the algorithm wants from me, as I know as long as I'm entertaining those around me and they're happy about it, that's great. If they don't like it and they move on, that's okay too! I don't always have to do what everyone wants, I can do what I want to do for myself, and that's okay!
It took you getting knocked out twice to understand that?
That and the fact that I talked to somebody who I'm pretty sure is sort of God, but also Satan. But who cares? Come on, let's open presents!
Wait, so am I getting paid?
Just check the mail next week. Let Bruno enjoy this moment.
Hello? Sorry, I'm late to the intervention.
Damn, you know, this Christmas was great. I loved hanging out with all my friends, and I'm so happy everyone enjoyed their gifts. I especially enjoyed the head trauma. Yeah, it does kind of suck that my gift was technically an intervention to make non-Roblox content, but that opened my eyes to a lot because now looking back, I kind of want to make more stuff. Just anything. But mushy stuff aside, I at least got some presents for my girlfriend Ash. I wonder what it might be. Oh, maybe a laptop, or maybe something else. I'll get to it next year.
Dude, I fell off. I'm not the conclusion at all. That's so funny. Oh yeah, baby, Wario Land 7 for the Nintendo DS3.